Hello everyone, and welcome to this very, very special episode of the Essays in Espresso podcast. I'm your new permanent host, Acer Aesthetics, and the other guys, they're also here. Talk!
Not permanent. No. Stop spreading lies.
Daniel, we had a vote before we started talking.
We did not.
Daniel lost out.
This is not true.
Bogan, is this true?
I can neither confirm nor deny this.
Well, you fucking fence-sitting son of a bitch. You're like, oh, I don't want to cause conflict. I'm going to have this fence, surgically grafted onto my anus.
I was told to leave my political opinions at the door. Okay.
After all those slanders I dumped at you just before we started recording, you still defend me like this. I don't deserve you, Bogan.
I see where your loyalties lie.
Daniel does deserve me, though.
Do I? Do I really?
Yeah. I feel like you probably pissed off, like, a gypsy in your past life.
Maybe?
Has he, like, put a hex on you? Anyways. Or maybe your dad. He hexed your dad that he would have unfortunate kids. Anyways, we have a topic today. That
sounds like something that would happen to my dad.
What's the topic?
Good exposition versus bad exposition.
It's time we put these damn expositions through the ringer.
Yes.
Sorry for that. I was drinking coffee. But we also have crap we've been doing. So I'd just like to, just a little behind the curtains here for the people listening at home. So what happens is we have a Google Doc, and everybody individually just updates the doc on like, oh, this is something I've been doing. And
yes,
what you two seem to not understand is that you don't have to put literally everything you've been doing into the doc. You can sort of select the things you want to talk about, you know?
You can't tell me what to do, Mom.
Like first of all, my topic that I've been doing, it's accidentally listed under Daniel for some reason. I was
also confused by that.
Yeah, mine just says One Piece because I've been watching One Piece. Daniel has 7 topics listed. I'll grant you that the James Bond movies, that's a leftover. That's not something you're talking about now. Boken had 4, but
I cut them down because I was planning on cutting them down.
He did cut them down.
This is just a reminder for me on what I could be talking about.
Oh, so you don't you have the doc as like part of the selection process.
Yes.
Ah.
Okay, but also just because I have something there, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to bring it up. It's more of a reminder of like, oh yeah, I read this. Oh yeah, I watched this. I played this. I listened to this.
Okay.
And I kind of pick and choose when we're recording of like, oh, what do I feel like actually discussing? I'll talk about this one, or oh, I'll leave this for next week, or whatever.
Okay. So this was a little bit. People get to see how the sausage is made. Another little behind the scenes is that, something will come out that all 3 of us are like interested in. An Elden Ring or the Batman. And I'll go, we should talk about that. And then either one of you, or sometimes it's me, will go, I haven't played it yet. I haven't watched it yet. Give me, we'll do it next time. And so what happens is these big projects like Elden Ring come out, and then it's radio silent from us for like 2 months, and then we're like, okay, so let's talk about this after all the hype has died down.
Well, even if
our podcast is doomed to be evergreen content.
Yeah, even if we talk about something right away, like it takes us 4 weeks to edit a podcast, and then
we always have like one.
We have 2 other ones in the background still waiting to be released, and then it's just fucked anyway.
We need like a manager. Somebody with like no tolerance for any of our bullshit to just make us actually do this. Now, obviously, such a person could not be made to edit videos themselves. Being a manager is a full-time job. I propose I do that.
I do not agree to this. This sounds like a farce.
Bogan, do you fence it again?
Nope.
Oh,
You crossed the line this time.
damn it. Anyways, so Batman, Elden Ring. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about One Piece?
No, we don't have time.
Okay.
I want to talk about My Dad Wrote a Porno.
All right. Can you do that quickly?
Yes.
All right. That's the first topic then.
So
what is wrong? What is wrong with your father?
To be 100% absolutely clear, I am not referring to my father. This is a podcast called My Dad Wrote a Porno. And it is a podcast where this guy is reading this erotic novella that his Irish father wrote with two of his pals. And the three of them go line by line, page by page, chapter by chapter. And they deconstruct this bewildering tale of salesmanship and sex.
All right.
It's a fucking hilarious podcast. It's a lot of fun. This book is written just so absurdly and strangely. I just gotta say, give it a shot. Just listen to it. It's a fun podcast. Right. And that's really all I want to say about it.
Does the dad know the son is doing this? Did he find this on purpose?
He knows. He loves the podcast. Even though the podcast is making fun of the book, he's actually written like 6 books, and they've done different seasons of the podcast on the different books. He's actually written the sequels specifically because the podcast did so well. The podcast became so popular that famed actress Daisy fucking Ridley of Star Wars fame came onto the podcast to read from the book.
Ooh. Does he do like moans and stuff?
I haven't gotten to that part. I've only just heard that she appears at some point. And I'm just like, that is insane.
I feel so bad for her because she was in like some interview where she was talking about how she can't get jobs in Hollywood for some reason. I think it's just like...
she's typecast?
Yeah, it's like what happened with Mark Hamill. And now she's doing like, not even porn. She's doing a podcast making fun of porn.
Oh, poor girl.
She'll like, look, I don't really
fine.
care.
She's
She's world famous. She has a lot of money. She can
has
do
a lifetime
whatever.
of royalties from a fucking Star Wars role.
Yeah, she's doing fine.
Did you guys know that Carrie Fisher? I don't think like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and the gang saw royalties from Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah, I think George Lucas, he owns their likeness. Or well, they may have received royalties, but I think George Lucas owned like their likeness in perpetuity or whatever that phrase is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of screwed up.
Yeah. But it may also not be true, so...
Just saying. I may have heard this, I may not.
I may have made it up.
Yeah.
No, because...
inspired by true events.
But when George Lucas was receiving some Lifetime Achievement Award, Carrie Fisher joked about how he owned her likeness. And it was in good fun, but I don't know if it's actually true or not.
True or not, yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah. Anyways, Elden Ring, then Batman, or Batman and then Elden Ring?
I'm fine either way.
Right. What do you
Sounds
guys...
like you want Elden Ring out of the way.
I do want Elden Ring out of the way, because I'm so burnt out on it, and I'm so tired of talking about it. But the thing is, I'm also really tired of talking about Batman, so I'm not gonna be bringing my A game to either one of these.
Who are you fucking
We'll
talking
just pick
to?
up your slack.
How many podcasts do you have?
Hey, I have a life. Not like a really busy one.
I find it strange, though. I guess it's not strange because, like, you have been doing so many videos on FromSoft games. I guess it's not really surprising that you're like burnt out at this point, and Elden Ring being like the culmination of all of FromSoft's efforts up to this point. It's just like, ugh, I don't want any of it right now.
No, it's not like I really enjoyed it. I guess we're doing Elden Ring. Okay, so
yeah,
just before we say anything more, general thoughts. Bogan?
It's like the best game I ever played that I can't stand.
That's so weird.
Daniel, general thoughts?
It's hard for me to say because I'm still stuck in Stormvale. I have not really played the game much.
Yeah, what a great contribution you're gonna be for this conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. I will at least say that based on what I've played, I've liked everything I've played.
Yeah, like those opening 10 minutes and then the hour it took you to get to Stormvale. How much have you played?
I've done stuff. I've been around the block.
Yeah, you really haven't, but okay.
No.
I mean, I fucked around in Caelid.
Well, yeah, okay.
I like, even though like I haven't progressed that much, like linearly, like in the area that I feel like I've done almost everything in the areas that I've been in.
All right.
So I've done a lot.
Is this a spoiler-free conversation then?
I don't care if you guys spoil stuff.
Do you care if we talk about like bosses in areas you might have missed or stuff like that?
I don't care.
Okay.
I really don't. Like I don't personally consider that stuff spoilers because I mean you're just talking about like enemies and gameplay mechanics. It's not like you're going, "Oh my god, Funalito suddenly died because of brain cancer." Like, it's not like a story beat that you're spoiling. You're just talking about elements in the game. And it's one thing to talk about that stuff and then see it for yourself and experience it.
Yeah.
So
did you just spoil me on something that I don't know?
No,
Funalito?
He made that up.
No, dude. Okay. Wow. That is a cultural thing that you are totally ignorant of. Funalito is a generic name used in Spanish to refer to like a nobody. Like not a nobody, but like it's supposed to be a generic name. A generic Spanish name.
Bogan,
okay.
No character in Elden Ring got brain cancer. I can promise you that.
No, you don't know that.
I do. I know everything about Elden Ring at this point.
Boke, were you going there thinking like, is there some Spanish drama I haven't watched that I just got spoiled on?
Yeah, I was confused because you suddenly had an accent for one word.
Well, I mean, I do know Spanish, and when I speak Spanish, I have an accent.
Me too.
Oh, do you? Do you really?
Sí.
Pendejo?
I really liked Elden Ring, but I think I played it wrong, and I'm gonna enjoy my replay a few months from now much more, I think.
What did you play wrong?
Okay, so media criticism has a really hard time, a lot of media criticism has a really hard time with the idea of trade-offs. So a game can do one thing, or it can do the other thing, but sometimes it can't do both. And Elden Ring, it could be really open and expressive and give the player a lot of power to sort of create their own build, or it could be really tightly directed, but it can't do both. It chose to be as open as it was and allow you to do the things you want to do. Like, Daniel, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you don't actually have to go to Stormvale. You can just walk around it to reach the next area.
I was aware of that, yes. Yeah. And I did do that. And then I was like, I want to go back to Stormvale, though, and actually finish it.
Yeah. So Elden Ring, it made the decision to be this really open thing. But I took that as, I should just get into the world and learn everything. But I think the game, the way levels are balanced, is you reach an area, you are kind of supposed to be there for like 30 levels and meet all the NPCs and engage with all the little quests that they have to find there. I think that sort of would have smoothed out the difficulty bumps that I found. Because it isn't that tightly directed.
No. I didn't really run into that many difficulty bumps, to be honest. I ran into one, and then I overcompensated by just exploring everything where I hadn't been yet, and then I was so overleveled for the rest of it that I kind of just destroyed everything up until the last couple bosses.
Yeah. What was your difficulty bump? Or wall?
It was Caelid, for sure. There was in Caelid. There's Commander O'Neill, which was ridiculous. And then
I was able to beat him, but I had to like kind of cheese it. Like I was like I had to bait him with the horse and use summons, and it took a while, but I was able to kill him. And at the end of it, I was just like, "Fuck!" I feel like I did that
fucking
wrong.
HP. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
there was also a tower in Caelid that I found, and you have to like use your horse in like really like weird and specific ways in order to even get inside of it. And once I did, I found like 2 soldiers who were able to kill me in like 2 fucking hits. And after I killed the 2 of them and realized that this whole tower is probably filled with these fuckers, I was just like, I'm done. I'm not coming back here for a while. Like these guys are brutal.
Yeah.
There's just 2 of them.
That's a thing in Elden Ring in general. It's just often you don't need to fight anything. You know? Like there are these giant bears out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Maybe twice I just ran up to one and was like, I'm gonna fight this thing now. And then I got fucking mauled, and then I realized, what's the point? Like, I was waiting for that thing to pop up as a boss somewhere so that I actually have to fight it. But otherwise, like, I could try to learn this boss now, or this enemy, but why? You know, I can go up to this giant and kill it, but then there's 5 other ones a couple meters away. What's the point?
Yeah.
To say that you did.
Yeah, no. I gave up on this game, by the way. I'm at the what is it? The penultimate boss? Is that what it's called? The second to last boss, I guess.
Marika.
What a bitch move.
And not Radon. What's his name?
Radagon.
No,
I mean the boss before that. Like Marika and Radagon. That's one boss, right?
The Godwin Horoalu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at that boss, and I just grew so tired of the combat.
I beat him in my second try.
Well, good for you, I guess.
Good. But yeah, the combat in this game sucks ass.
I'm tired. Like, this is the one thing I want to talk about is I'm so done with like Souls combat in general.
I'm not.
They need to do something.
I am totally willing to have this combat again, but you can't. I'm done with the enemy design. So this combat is really good in Demon Souls when you're in cramped little tunnels, and it's not about being better at combat than the enemy. It's about outplaying them with like situational awareness. And great bosses like the Adjudicator, they rely more on that for spectacle than they do you rolling at the right time. Yeah. But for Elden Ring, because every area is so open, now every enemy has to be a self-contained challenge for them to be like you can't have just an open plane and the same enemies from Demon Souls. Each enemy has to be a challenge, and because they do, it just like, why am I bothering fighting these things? This is just a waste of my time because I can run past them, and so you begin to skip all of them, and it's really obnoxious. Like, people need to stop with the Artorias and Cerulean love. Those fights were fun when they were a gimmick, but give me interesting bosses
become
in these
every
games
fight
again.
now.
But they have been every fight for the last couple of games.
Yeah, the more I think about Matthew Matosis's video, The Lost Soul Arts of Demon Souls, I believe it was called, the more I agree with it, where that one of the things that made that game really interesting and special was that a lot of the boss fights were mechanically very different from each other. They all had their own unique little ideas that made them stand out. And over time, the boss fights feel like they've become homogenized, and it's just become dodge and then attack, dodge and then attack, dodge and then attack. And yeah, it's gotten to the point where it's like, what happened to fights like in I forget the name of the valley, like the really mucky one in Demon Souls, where it's like raining all the time and it's like shitty. I remember there was a boss fight in that one where there's this dude who has like an insane amount of defense, and he's not fighting you. He's just there with his big shield, and you've had to find a way to get past him so that you can kill this woman who's like glowing white. And I want fights like that again, where it's like, it's a unique idea, but it also makes you feel something. There's something emotionally uncomfortable about that fight, where they're basically telling you, hey, leave us alone. We're not doing anything wrong. Fuck off. But you get in there anyways, and you kill these people. And it's like, it feels like something in the pit of your stomach just makes you go like, ugh.
Are we talking?
I didn't want to do that.
Sorry, my Discord crapped out for a moment there. Are we talking about Maiden Estrella?
Yes.
I believe so.
Maiden Estrella. This is a localization issue. I agree with what you're saying, Daniel. But this specific example, she is absolutely evil in that game. She is.
No, but that doesn't matter. Like, that's just a story moment. You can take it however you want and however you understand it. But the fact of the matter is, I remember the boss fight because it's unique. And you can approach it in a lot of ways. Like, you have these weird cliffs where you can shoot the knight from afar. You can try to poison him. You can just go up to him and fight him.
His name's Carl Vinland, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
By the way, I'm just for the record, I made this point before Matthew Matosis. My video just didn't blow up. And I'm very mad about it. I made a whole fucking video on gimmicky boss fights in Dark Souls. Oh, in Souls.
To be fair, on like a pure gameplay perspective, I do still enjoy the design of the current boss fights.
How?
But the problem is, it's just
how can you?
I don't.
They're like it's one thing when you do it once, but when every boss is the exact same thing.
No, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. Like, what I don't mind these boss fights in a vacuum. The problem is that there's too many of them that are too similar to each other.
Here's my problem with it, is the role in Dark Souls is just too strong. Having unconditional invincibility reduces... It's kind of like an ease. It just reduces everything you need to do to just the timing, the correct timing of the roll.
When Dark Souls 2 tried to fix that, everybody got really mad at them.
Yeah, because that was also really inconsistent. Because the boss fights were still the same.
Sure, but they got mad at it because they couldn't just roll their way through the game. It wasn't the inconsistency. Yeah, because
that's what people expect now for some reason. Yeah. But it's so boring. Like, I'm fighting this huge boss in this giant arena, and all I'm doing is just rolling into his face on the right time and then pressing attack. Like, there are so many aspects bosses could have. I mean, I'm really thinking a lot about boss design now because I'm playing so many MMOs, and they're so complex in that. But, like, the arena doesn't matter in Souls. The boss doesn't, I don't know, have different phases where suddenly he starts doing something cool, starts maybe taking away part of the room you're in so that it gets more tense because the arena shrinks or something. There's no... I need to go to this space now to do something, and then I need to avoid the boss while doing something on the other side. There are no interesting arenas in the game in general. It's just
it's just a big wide open space.
Yeah.
You know, and going back to the Maiden Estrella fight again, like the environment in that was interesting because what was the knight's name? Garland?
Garvinland.
Okay, so like there's a walkway that he's blocking and it's really difficult to get around him because he's basically, you know, just covering all the space, and it's very difficult to actually maneuver around him. And it's stuff like that that makes you think not just about the enemies, but in the place that you're in and how to. It becomes more like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And again, the boss fights nowadays with these games, it's just big wide open space, and you don't really think about it. It's just, you know, it's just giving you enough room to just like roll, basically.
And when you can dodge everything because of the invincibility, then your movement just, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where you stand, where you're running to. It's just time the dodge, and then you're done. And then on the opposite side, because the dodge roll is so fucking strong, and the only thing that the designers can do to fuck you up is like do these stupid, you know, wind-up animations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just either they do like shitty tricky animations where you need to dodge later or earlier than you think, and they're catching you like that, or they just keep spamming fucking attacks at you because the boss doesn't stop because, you know, he has a 7, 8, 9 hit combo.
Yeah.
I think I saw like I think it was like a webcomic or something where it showed normal enemy tells from every other game. Enemy raises a sword, he hits you. And that's like Souls game. Enemy raises his sword, he waits a little bit. He might twirl the sword a little bit, and then he hits you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he does like he's gonna strike again, and he doesn't, and then he strikes again.
Yes.
But moving away from that, because I think everything having to do with combat is the worst aspect of this game. Everything else I'm really interested in. I love the idea of moving away from Eco to Shadow of the Colossus when it comes to... because Eco was Miyazaki's favorite game, that's why he started making games, and that's kind of the sensibility he brought from. I like the idea of, okay, now you're on a horse, and you have to just travel the world. And I first of all, I'm a big fan of, you can actually just almost sort of scale just these crazy architectures just on your horse, like the towers that hold the fingers. Have you guys gone up all of those?
No.
It's what?
Towers that hold the fingers?
Oh, you don't know about that?
No. Maybe I do. I'm not sure what you mean.
You know those giant towers that they have there are 6 of them in the game? Like just these gigantic towers. Always located near water. Anyways, up there
I have no fucking clue what you mean.
I think that's the tower I was talking about that I found in Caelid.
It might be. I think there is one there.
I think it was by the water.
Yeah. So when you get up them, you meet these thinkers, and they give you great runes. So if you, for example, defeat one of the great bosses, you can get their rune, and it's kind of like how when you embered in Dark Souls 3, or when you used humanity in Dark Souls 1, you got like a stat increase. These great runes, when you activate them, do the same thing, but they come in more forms. So you could ember, or whatever they call it in Elden Ring, and get more health. You can get more stamina. Maybe you have a more FP. Maybe your stamina recovery is a bit better. Maybe you deal a bit more damage or something like that. So I love that just for the variety of different things that it allows you to do.
Don't you activate those with rune arcs?
Yeah.
Okay. To be fair, that's a system that I just kind of ignored.
I didn't find that out until I was like 70 hours in.
Yeah.
And the game has the Breath of the Wild problem for me, though, in that the most interesting things the game does are the things that are so rare. Like, my favorite moment in Breath of the Wild was when I went to that island where I was stripped of all my materials and had to overcome it. There was that one...
Oh, Eventide.
Yeah, there was that one ruin that was submerged in complete darkness that I liked. I liked the misty Kokiri forest part. Like those sort of really, really unique moments where you're sort of just in the world. When Elden Ring does that, it's really good. Like when you have to go up the lift of Dectus, I think it is. But you could also just go underneath it and enter like a cave that takes you to a mine, and the mine opens up to like an ant colony, and you can go through the ant colony into another mine, and you can just sort of scale this entire elevator system just through this optional little path tucked away there. I love that stuff. I love the volcano manor. I love the Castle of Sol, even though the boss could eat my whole ass. But yeah, like...
Which boss was that? Castle of Sol?
It's the one with the telekinetic sword. Have you gone there? It's the castle that sort of...
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That I was totally over leveled for that. Wasn't much of a problem.
I was not. And I found on that sort of mountain which the volcano manor stands on, there is a cave entrance in like that is like it's elevated, so you can't jump to it no matter how you try on your horse. And I haven't for the life of me figured out how I'm supposed to get there. I imagine that's the exit because it sort of opens on a pillar which you could jump from if you were in the exit, but I can't find the entrance to that thing. So commenters, please tell me.
It is, the open world in this game is like, it's the opposite of the combat, really, where it gives you so many solutions to just finding your way. And you can do just about anything. And, meanwhile, the combat is like, there's one solution that you need, and it beats everything.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, like, I just can't stand playing this game, but I do love how open it is. I do love how many weapons there are. I think they really have gone out of their way to just let you create so many builds, just so many ways to spec your character, so many weapons, power stancing is back, all that shit. Like, that's just, I find it exciting to find weapons.
Poise is back.
Was it ever gone?
Oh, you poor innocent child. It's been it's come and gone and been of more and less relevance in the games. But this is my favorite implementation of poise probably since Dark Souls 1.
Well,
yeah, wasn't poise technically in Dark Souls 3, but then
it is in Dark Souls 3, but it functions a bit differently.
Yeah. And I heard that, like, if you change one value in the game's code, that it reverts it back to how it worked in previous games. There's some shit like that.
I am going to say I do not love... Well, no. I can't comment on the story because I just started blocking it out almost immediately. Because that's one of those other things that I'm just tired of. Is just, we're only going to talk to you in cryptic riddles. And then say something psychotic and then laugh. And then you figure out the story for yourself, motherfucker. Especially in this game where there's no clear structure.
Yeah.
I just know I'm going to miss something. And then I just stopped caring immediately. And then the worst parts is like, I arrive in Volcano Manor. And there's like a lady in the bottom floor. I walk up to her, I talk to her, and she immediately wants me to like join her operation, and I don't even know what I'm agreeing to. Like,
yes.
Literally the first fucking dialogue box with her is, "Oh, you're gonna be part of us now? Okay, let's go."
Didn't you meet her in the entrance to the manor itself?
That's what I mean.
Oh, I thought you meant in the boss room that you met her.
She wasn't in the boss room.
She spawns in the boss room and she starts to eat the boss.
No. What?
Huh? Yeah, you need to go back.
I just killed the boss.
Yeah, she goes there.
Well, okay, see, I don't know. Why the fuck would I go back there? I've beaten the boss. I've got the soul. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I think this is the best presentation of a story they've done in a long time, though, because the way the idea of like, oh, you find out the story through item descriptions, but in this game you actually kind of want to read the item descriptions because you'll find like half of an amulet, and it'll read like, oh, this amulet which was robbed from this fort. And maybe the other part is still in that fort, I don't know. And you're like, oh, crap, where is that fort? And you find another item which references that it's on like, oh, it's on the east coast near the lake of Liurnia. And you go there and it's like, oh my god, what is this? Like, there are so many like these sort of vague just nudges into places that I found that I loved so much. And I also think this is just a much more interesting story than they did in Dark Souls. I'm really enjoying it. Like the whole idea of like the Golden Order and the fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. As I said, I can't comment. I have no fucking clue what's going on.
I like the world.
Oh, the world is wonderful.
No, yeah. It's absolutely the best part of the game. Just, I think the exploration is what makes this game. And I think that's one of the reasons why people like it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
was going to say, before this Drax, do we want to have like final words? And maybe come back to this conversation later?
Sure. I haven't played the game as much as you guys have, clearly, but
no.
I still enjoy it. But I'm already seeing the issues. I don't think I'm going to be a bitch like Boken, though, and quit, but...
I haven't beaten it. I got to the final boss, and I died once, and I was like, you know what? I'll come back to this later.
Maybe another time. Maybe after they patch it.
That's the thing, though. It's like I can see when I die to a boss, I can already see the end.
Yeah.
I just, it's always just go in there, learn all the attack animations, and then do it right once. It's not interesting, and I know I can just grind that down eventually, and then I lose all motivation.
Yeah.
Fucking annoying. Also, fuck Melania. It's the worst boss fight ever.
Yeah. I see people defend her. I love her character. I love her like design, especially in the second phase. But
every boss fight is so spectacular.
Yeah.
When I was fighting Malekith, I was just, that guy's flipping around, shooting fucking projectiles at you from a sword, and it was amazing. But then I realized, I'm just pressing dodge again.
Yeah.
Running. I can roll into the fucking projectile and it doesn't hurt me.
It's so interesting that like they've looked at like boss design in previous games and they've said, how can we change it? Like what can we add? And what they added was for the enemies to be able to just regenerate health by attacking you.
Yeah. That is a hard concept to swallow.
Yeah. Also,
but
yeah. Sorry.
Her moveset is just like Melania's moveset is just a bunch of attacks that don't do anything. And then she goes into the fucking weep slash. And if you're not at the right side, she just kills you. Like, you're just dead.
Yeah.
It's so poorly done. It's just the worst.
I will say...
And also, I guess, I'm not playing a block build, but the fact that it basically negates blocking is just unfair.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, because I always go, like, longsword. I think I had the bastard sword or something through most of the game, and a shield. And when I met her, I was like, damn it. And I went with, like, the mimic tier, and I did all those sort of degenerate sort of strategies to try to kill her.
Yeah.
I will say, saving grace of the boss lineup, my boy, Radahn. Oh my god, I love that fight. That is such a more interesting thing than all these other bosses. Fuck them off. You go in there and you're on the beach and there's just like this insane, unstoppable monster and you just have to ride around and keep spamming summons for help.
Yeah.
It's so fun. That was
really funny, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've posted the video of me killing the boss. It was a complete joke, but it was a cool concept to just
Yeah.
get your buddies in there that you only just met, and you're all gonna fucking zerk this boss down.
Yeah.
And I did the same with a fire giant. Just summoned Alexander, and then also just my normal summon. And I had so much more fun doing that than actually learning the boss.
Yeah, well, horse combat, I like horse combat, like as a concept. Please never return to this. I have 2 different types of attacks I can do. This is terrible.
I completely stopped doing anything on horse.
Yeah.
Except for traveling. Like, it seems like a good option because it's relatively safe, but it just takes so long. And you're just giving yourself more time to fuck up.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, final words. It's an amazing feat of game design. I'm also completely done with Souls. The exploration and the world design just kept me at bay for a long while, but then towards the end, I'm so fed up with it again now.
Kept you at bay? Kept you engaged?
Engaged, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
kept me invested.
I'll return to this game when they're done patching it. And I imagine a lot of the issues I have with it are going to be gone. But I don't think they can patch out the combat. But yeah. I hope that the Armored Core 6 rumors are true and that they're finally stepping away from this stuff. Because FromSoft...
That would be nice.
FromSoft used to make just whatever. They used to make Mac games, they did a horror game, they did fantasy games, sure, but they used to do just all sorts of games. And then they blew up and they just did dark fantasy over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him. Well, to be fair, they did try to do something different with that VR game and nobody cared.
Nope. Well, I would have cared if I could have played it. Because apparently it is, pretty good.
Yeah, but it's like a...
I think it's
a PS4 exclusive VR game.
Yeah, I'm not buying a VR headset for one game. Sony, get your shit together.
They should at least release it on PC.
Yeah, well. But then people won't buy the PSVR.
Oh no.
Think of poor Sony, Daniel.
Oh, the poor millionaires at Sony.
Yeah.
Whatever will they do?
They'll just release another one of these god-awful Spider-Man movies. Anyways, Batman. Speaking of Spider-Man. Batman. What do you guys think about Batman?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it quite a bit.
Okay, so the Exposition. You guys wanted to talk about Exposition?
What?
Oh, Bogan, you have thoughts too?
I also liked it.
Oh.
It was a bit too long.
What a normie take.
And I don't know. It's a good movie.
It's the best Batman movie.
No.
The hell no.
Yeah.
It's not.
Fuck is wrong with you?
It is. Those are the facts.
It's not even. It's not even the best live action Batman movie.
It absolutely is.
No.
You guys are just sucking on Nolan's cock right now.
Nolan
made one middling movie, one absolutely fucking terrible movie, but then he also made a really, really, really good one.
No, he made 2 really, really good ones, and one which is poorly edited, but is pretty good. So there's a good movie in there.
No.
Yes, he did. Batman Begins is better than The Dark Knight. You people need to grow the fuck up.
Batman Begins is definitely an okay movie.
It's definitely the best live-action Batman movie. It is.
I don't know about that.
It is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I haven't watched that in a very long time. I don't think it's gonna be Dark Knight for me though, because I think Dark Knight is just really, really good. It's just
Dark Knight is
tight as fuck.
Overrated.
Oh,
No.
Dark Knight is overrated.
Typical fucking Daniel only says that because he's a contrarian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me. I'm such a fucking contrarian. Here I am with my hot takes all the time about how the Star Wars prequels are actually the good ones and everything else sucks.
I didn't say that. Yeah. I didn't say that. I said that the Star Wars. I said that the Star Wars prequels have a good story told poorly, which is why, like, if you look at the expanded material around the prequels, it works. The Clone Wars TV shows, it works because you have a good story that you can just tell better. Whereas with the sequel trilogy, that's a god-awful story. And none of the expanded material around that is any good because it's glued to this terrible, terrible main story.
Yeah, the sequel trilogy is quite terrible.
Prequel trilogy is also bad, but it has a good story.
But you do have to admit that it is a huge, huge backhanded compliment to say that the reason why the prequels are good, it's because they spawned other things that were better.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the prequels are good. I'm saying they have a good story. And like you can even
I don't know about
discount.
I don't know about they had a good story, but they did have good ideas.
No, it has a good story. Like the idea of like you have this little slave boy who then gets indoctrinated into this order which has completely lost touch of their teachings, and then he's seduced by like this sadistic, power-hungry monster because he can't stand the thought of people around him dying, and he just grows more and more disillusioned with the order because he realizes just how unable they are to solve anything, and it's happening in the middle of this giant galactic war. That's a good story.
Okay, now that you explain it like that, it actually does sound like a good story.
You just have to tell it better. You have to tell it better.
The prequels just made it so fucking dull.
Yeah. Too bad there's so much garbage in between it.
It's like and even the stuff that should be interesting, a lot of it is just presented in such a fucking banal way.
Yeah. Like Mace Windu. Don't put Samuel L. Jackson in a movie and have him just be a boring guy.
You'd think he'd be like a Sith Lord or something. You'd think that would make more sense, right?
I would have loved it if he'd have been like just like a Jedi, but he's kind of like tweaking. He's just like, ooh, he's about to snap at any moment, guys.
that could have been good.
Why are we talking about Star Wars?
I thought, yeah.
Because Daniel is a contrarian.
I am not.
Okay, Daniel, why did you like this movie so much? What do you think is better about it than pick your favorite Nolan movie? So,
first of all, I do want to make it clear, I haven't seen the Nolan movies since they came out. So,
shock.
I probably do need to go back and watch them again and see and reevaluate them, see how I feel.
This movie I haven't seen in 14 years. Overrated. You're gonna rewatch it and you're gonna realize that, oh my god, it is actually that good.
I don't know.
Well, not now, because now he's gonna spite you.
I might just say they suck just to make you feel bad.
Little do you know that I won't actually care, and you'll just be ruining it for yourself.
Okay, so the reason why I like this movie so much, right? First of all, I love the atmosphere. I feel like this is the best live action representation of Gotham, period.
That I will agree with.
It's dirty, it's mucky, it feels like the city is its own character in a way that kind of sort of the Tim Burton movies sort of did.
But it's not as goofy.
Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah, it's not quite as silly. Nolan didn't do that at all.
Yeah, he did. He did it in Batman Begins, but then he just set his movies in Chicago.
Like,
what? Rewatch
it
Batman
just felt
Begins.
Like a regular city.
Rewatch Batman Begins.
Fine, but like, I guess I'm mostly thinking of Dark Knight in particular.
Yeah.
It just felt like a regular city. It didn't feel special.
Yeah.
Hold on. What if next time we just talk about Batman Begins, because I also want to kind of rewatch it.
Okay, sure. Well, we'll collectively rewatch Batman Begins and do a reevaluation.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Let's do it.
I don't really want to watch it, but okay.
You don't have
You're
to.
You're the one that's sucking it off. You're the one that's like, oh, this Batman Begins cock is so good, guys.
I didn't say that.
You absolutely said that. The jizz is still dribbling out of your mouth.
I didn't say that. I liked a lot of the movie. Did you guys notice that his nose is giant on his mask? Because it's clearly like a separated armor. Because he doesn't want to have his nose broken.
I did not notice that, no.
Well.
And that is interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, that sure is interesting.
Okay. So, another... Real quick before we move on, something else that I really liked about the movie was that it actually played into the detective aspect of Batman's character, which I don't think any of the other movies really did much.
No, but the thing is, it does play into like that detective thing, but not like that riddle at the end where he's like, "Oh, you didn't figure it out." That's not a real riddle. Like, that's not a real reveal that, oh, he killed him with a rug because he expected you to tear up the rug. It's like, no. That's not a riddle. That's not like something any normal person could have ever figured out, you idiot.
No, yeah.
I didn't like
I
any
mean,
of
at
the
the same
riddles.
time, the Riddler is also, like, insane. Like, he's completely unhinged.
What?
So, so, like... I get what you're saying. Like, there's no way anyone would have like figured that out. But at the same time, yeah, it also makes sense that the Riddler would do something like that because he's an incel murderer, serial killer. Like, yeah, of course.
He's not an incel.
Dude, he is emanating fucking incel energy.
He has incel energy, but nowhere in the movie is he like pissed off about how women won't sleep with him. I will not have you slander the good name of Paul Dano.
Okay, fine. Sure. That's not explicit in the movie, but like that they're clearly kind of evoking that imagery and that vibe.
Yeah. That's true.
But like
I like how he had like 500 followers.
Yeah, and most of them were like crazy enough to actually buy into his shit and actually do what he wanted, which, yeah.
I don't know what kind of platform that was supposed to be.
It's like a mix
of
of
500 followers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a mix of Twitter and 4chan and YouTube somehow. I don't know.
It makes no sense if it's like actually something so public like Twitter.
Yeah.
It would make sense seem like if it's just a Telegram group or something. Then you could have
it didn't seem like a public thing, like, because I remember the web page looking very crude, so I think the impression they were giving was like, this is some like dark web, kind of thing, like it's like underground.
But I think some random police officer just talked about it because, like, oh, we all know about this.
No, he was on Riddler's computer, I believe. And he was like snooping through his computer and he found it.
Do you guys like how Paul Dano's head is really round?
Okay.
No.
I love Paul Dano. He looks like he's got just a ball for a head.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Have you seen his face?
He looks ugly as fuck.
No!
Maybe
I know.
He looks better in normal, but I don't know.
I know a girl who told this to me in confidence, but I'm going to share it here anyways, who found him to be hot in that movie.
Good for her. We all have our preferences.
Look at how round his head is. I shared an image in the group chat.
Whatever, man. I didn't think any of the riddles were particularly fun. but I don't know. They're usually written in a way where you can't figure it out on yourself anyway.
Yeah, they're not written.
They're
not written for the audience.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it didn't feel like they were written in a way for us to also try and figure it out along with Batman.
No, he just answers some of them in like 2 seconds.
Or just some random guy is with him in the room. Oh, my dad was a carpenter.
No, his uncle. His uncle was a carpenter.
Oh, who gives a fuck? I'm giving an
I didn't
example.
mind that though. I didn't mind that though because this Riddler is clearly very different from other versions of Riddler, which are much more goofy and silly. This one is just like an unhinged serial killer.
Yeah, I liked how. What's the guy's name? Did you guys see Our Flag Means Death, the gay pirate show?
No.
Okay, the guy. There's a guy in that who's like Blackbeard's second in command. Izzy is his name, and he talks like this. And he's the guy who, when Batman wakes up in the police station, and he goes, "Do you have any idea what kind of trouble you're in?" I love that guy so. He's got such an awesome voice. And like the police commissioner before him, like at the start, he was like, "What the hell is going on in here?" It's just like every goddamn cop is Joe Pesci. I got you assaulting an officer.
Yeah, I like this movie. I don't care what y'all say.
I liked it too. I mean,
yeah, it's a good movie.
Give you the mood, and I will give you that I think it's probably the most well shot Batman movie.
It's
like
by far.
It's the best. It's also the best superhero movie since Nolan, I would say.
I haven't really paid attention to any Marvel films at all.
This beats every Marvel movie out, just handily. I can't imagine going back to Marvel now.
I believe you.
I am a big fan of
Ant-Man. Yeah, you would be.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. I have a soft spot for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
You're wrong. No.
I think that is a really smart and really, scaled back movie.
That's a good movie, but I like this way better.
Can we also appreciate that this was a Batman Year 2 movie? And despite it being like a young Batman who makes mistakes, which I thought was great, they didn't feel the need to retread his fucking like parents dying like all these fucking movies do.
Sure.
Like it's touched on, sure, but we don't have that fucking scene of the fucking pearls falling into the puddle or what. Like, we don't have that fucking shit for like the third, fourth, fifth fucking time. But it's still a bit of an origin-ish.
It's like
movie,
how it's like how Spider-Man: Homecoming. You don't need to see Uncle Ben die. We've seen that 20 times already.
Right. We don't need that again.
I didn't like though about this movie. I am tired of The Dark Knight Returns and Year One and The Long Halloween being the only comic books any of these movie makers want to adapt. And I'm ready for them to just don't do Dark Victory in the next one. Do something else. Take another comic and get your inspiration from that.
Well, it looks like the Joker's going to be in the sequel.
No, I don't think he will be. They've talked about doing Mr. Freeze.
Oh, God.
I mean, the stinger at the end of the movie, it seemed pretty clear to me that they were hinting at the Joker.
Matt Reeves hasn't talked about wanting to use the Joker in the sequel. He's just in the world. And I like that. I like that, oh, Batman and the Joker, they just have this relationship already.
No, they don't. Batman didn't talk to the Joker.
He did in the deleted scene.
Oh, fuck this.
He did.
That's not in the movie.
No, but it's canon. It's part of the marketing, so it's canon.
A deleted scene is part of the marketing?
Yeah, you know how there's a post-credit scene that tells you to go to like elradaelada.com or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, the final reveal of that was that scene where Batman, Hannibal Lecter style, goes to Arkham and talks to the Joker.
Oh, no.
And the Joker's like, oh, the Riddler, he's a fan of yours. That's why the Joker knows how to manipulate him at the end.
Oh, fuck.
Because he read his psych profile.
I don't want to see the Joker again. I mean, that actor is really, really good, but...
He's in the Eternals. Your favorite movie.
I mean, I'm kind of half and half because on one hand, I'm tired of the Joker, but at the same time, like you said, it's a good actor. So I'm like, his take on it could be really cool though.
Yeah. Like I've said this so many times by now. I am ready for just do a Batman series. Just like they did with Daredevil. Give me a Batman show. And yeah, the Joker can be in maybe 2 episodes, but you can do other stuff. Like why do we
I don't think they'll do that.
Why do we have a Teen Titans show with Robin in it? And we have a Batwoman show, and we have a Gotham show, and we're getting another Gotham show, and we have an origin story for Alfred goddamn Pennyworth. Why can't we just get a Batman show?
Because Batman is too big and popular, and they want people to go to the fucking movies to see Batman.
I don't want to... Yeah, just do it both. Nobody's going to not go see Batman at the movies because there's a television show.
No, I get what you're saying, but like, I think their perspective is they want to put all their time and effort and money in the movies. And if they're doing that, why bother doing a show? Because that's where all the money's at.
Also, they talked about doing like an animated show in this universe. Many years ago, they talked about this. And they haven't updated us on any of that. It had like...
That would be cool.
Yeah, and it had like Bruce Timm involved as well. Like Matt Reeves and him.
Oh,
yeah, it was like...
shit.
Like, it was like, oh my god, I want to see that. But...
That sounds pretty hype.
They haven't talked about it at all, and I fear that it's been cancelled and replaced with that god-awful GC police show. I don't want to see the goddamn cops of this city anymore. Just give me Batman.
Give me my bats.
Or do a show about, they're doing also a Penguin spinoff. I might watch that. And do like a show about Catwoman. Like, they did that comic where she was in Rome, I think.
A Penguin spinoff sounds so fucking weird and random.
Yeah, but I would like to see that.
Does it? It's just gonna be a fucking mafia thing.
Oh no, I don't want to see a mafia thing. You guys fucking suck the dick of the Sopranos every goddamn week of this fucking podcast.
Hey, I can't help it. It's a good Italian sausage.
It's just, all these things, whenever someone brings them up, they sound so played out. Like, it's gonna be a Joker story. Oh, the Joker's gonna be crazy, and then he's gonna be the opposite of Batman.
And Jared Leto is gonna masturbate. Jared Leto's gonna masturbate in a shoebox.
Yeah, awesome.
And they'll say he's an artist.
Oh, remember it's gonna be a Mr. Freeze story. He's gonna freeze the world.
Remember when Bender...
He's not gonna freeze the world.
Remember when Bender was the Joker and Under the Red Hood?
Yeah, I've talked about how that's my favorite portrayal of him.
Yeah, that was cool. We should bring him back.
They did for that god-awful Bird Box movie. The one where it's like, make your own movie. What choice will you make?
That's not Bird Box.
No, but that's the same gimmick, isn't it?
No.
No, it's Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
Bandersnatch.
What the fuck is Bird Box?
That's the horror movie.
That's a shitty horror movie.
Where they are not allowed to look at the monster.
Oh, that's right. They had that fake viral marketing where people do the Bird Box challenge.
Yeah, and apparently the main actress,
Sandra Bullock,
they were going to show them. They were going to show the monster at some point, but the main actress just fucking bellowed laughing every time she looked at it, and they just took that as a sign of like, yeah, maybe it's better not to show this thing.
I don't know who keeps hiring Sandra Bullock to be in movies. Can we talk about that for a moment? Nah, she's fine. But yeah, I would love to see Mr. Freeze. Give me a Mr. Freeze movie. People say, he wouldn't fit into this universe. Bull crap. And also, I don't care. Just give me.
Well, he wouldn't fit in the way he's been portrayed before.
You can make this world a bit more magical. I don't care.
No.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know. I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's kind of poisoned the well.
Fucking 20 years ago, he played the character poorly, and the world will not forget.
We'll never forget.
Also, it's like, goddamn Jared Leto played the Joker just a few years ago as a goddamn silly man, and we're still getting the Joker again.
I remember
and
when,
now he's
when Joaquin Phoenix
Morbius.
played the Joker.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Oh yeah. Well, they may be doing a sequel to that.
So we're gonna have two different Jokers at the same time in two different movie series.
We're gonna have 3 different Jokers. Jared Leto is still signed on.
Oh,
I don't think he'll ever show up again. Did you guys know that Discovery, who acquired Warner Brothers, they're doing like a reshuffle because they wanna sort of get the comic book universe or like their comic book properties on track, and they talked about the movie Joker, and they said, we need to make more movies like this, where we explore the secondary characters, the sort of B-list characters of our universes.
What? In what universe is Joker a B-list character?
Yeah, I know. It's like you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How did you get your job?
I mean, he's B-list in being a protagonist of a story.
No, but that's not the context they were talking about. They thought he was like a more obscure character. He's like top 5
most popular Batman villain.
He's like top 5 most iconic comic book characters of all time.
Yeah.
Like just behind like Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman.
But this is like this would be like saying Doc Ock is like an obscure Spider-Man villain.
No, not even. Not even. Doc Ock is way more obscure than the Joker. This is like saying Spider-Man is an obscure Marvel character.
Yeah, the Joker might be the most famous cartoon villain.
And they also wanted to get like their kind of Kevin Feige to be in charge of implementing their ideas. That was their plan. It's like,
yeah, sure.
No, not sure. They had that in Jeff Johns, and Jeff Johns fought them on their ideas, so they fired him. Kevin Feige doesn't do his job well because he's good at implementing other people's ideas. Kevin Feige does his job well because he gets to decide things. They're trying to hire some middleman to launder their ideas into the movies. That's the approach you took. The Zack Snyder universe. Like that's what you created, you fucking idiots. You haven't learned any lessons. But I'm also of the opinion now that I don't want a DC shared universe. I just want to just keep experimenting. Do the Batman, or give James Gunn a Suicide Squad, or do the Joker. Do these more just smaller experimental movies. Not everything needs to be a cinematic universe. I'm looking at you.
But they've already set up a cinematic universe in this fucking movie. You have Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah,
you have the Joker introduced.
Sure, but this is the same, like the Batman property. You can they're gonna expand from that. That's very different from, okay, now we're gonna do another Justice League movie, and it's gonna be way more awesomer because Henry Cavill, we paid him $70 million to come back as Superman. Also, I want a good Superman movie. Anyways.
Yeah, man, Henry Cavill was so wasted on those fucking Zack Snyder movies. Because he makes a good Superman, but he was just coupled with a terrible director.
He's really good, but no, Zack Snyder is not a terrible director. Zack Snyder is wrong for this, I think, but I generally like what he does.
Okay, to be fair, his directing specifically... that's probably not the problem, but his scripts are fucking god awful.
I think he could direct a good Batman movie. I don't want him to write the story.
Yes, that makes sense. And he doesn't make sense with Superman. Superman is supposed to be more heroic, and Zack Snyder's a fucking weirdo that wants to see his characters get raped in prisons, Jesus Christ.
But yeah, give me a good Superman movie. It was brought to my attention on my Discord server not that long ago that Disney's Hercules from '97 is the best Superman movie ever made. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. Because his girlfriend in that movie, McGann or whatever, she is Lois Lane. Like, that is the same character. And you have, like, this whole son of the gods raised by farmers, and then he goes into the city to prove himself. It's like, yeah, that is a Superman movie, isn't it? But yeah, do a good Superman movie. I don't know what the hell J.J. Abrams is doing, but it can't be good. So
that is one thing I find. Even if Marvel movies, on the whole, are probably more than likely technically better films, I find DC films more interesting because the scale of quality varies so much more wildly. It's either you get something like Joker or the Batman, which are like, oh, these are actual films made with like an artistic vision, or you just get like absolute fucking gutter trash like the Zack Snyder stuff.
Here's Wonder Woman 84. The villain makes people's wishes come true.
Best movie of all time.
She's really bad in that role. People keep sucking her dick. A phrase I've used like 3 times in this episode now. She's.
You want to tell us something, Asa?
She's so bad in that role. She's such a
dude. Trust me. I just watched another movie with her. She's bad in all roles.
And like,
I mean, she looks the part.
She doesn't look the part. That's the thing. She looks
really.
She doesn't look anything like Wonder Woman. You get somebody like a what was that lady's name who was in The Matrix? Trinity. Like, that's
her. She's not buff enough.
And Gal Gadot, tiny little 40-kilogram woman is
buff.
Gal Gadot at least looks a little more fit.
But okay, that you can build muscle if you're doing a character, right? And also that actress, she's like probably 50 now, so she can't do it.
Carrie-Anne Moss?
Carrie-Anne Moss. Or you get a Robin Wright when Robin Wright was younger. Right? You get somebody who's like Wonder Woman needs to have like sort of a strength in her face, which Gal Gadot just doesn't.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Gal Gadot looks a little too much like a model.
Yeah. You want her to be tougher. She's like she's as strong as Superman, but she has Batman's brain. That's how you want to cast her. I don't know who you should get. Last time we talked about casting, it was in that Scott Pilgrim episode.
With the that woman from Mandalorian, I forget her name, who used to be an MMA fighter, who's also a terrible person, but
Gina Carano.
Point. Gina Carano.
No,
Would she be too buff?
Yeah, she's again like you want. She's too big. You want like. It's not the physicality. I think it's just the face.
It is. I think it's part the physicality though, because Wonder Woman's outfit shows a lot of like arms.
Oh
and
yeah,
legs.
Yeah. You want like a strong back. You want like muscles.
Yeah, you need some definition there.
Yeah.
She can't be spindly.
No. Who do you get for that? I don't know, and I don't care.
What?
Yeah. I think Gal Gadot was hired from like one of those Fast and the Furious movies.
What? No.
Yeah, I think that was like
was she in that?
She was in one of them at least, and that was like her big acting credit before she got Wonder Woman. Zack Snyder, he fucking made people. And now watch it. Look at it burn. Look at it all burn down as Ezra Miller gets arrested for the 10th time.
Look at your fucking legacy.
Anyways. Topic? Do you guys want to take a break?
I do need to take a break.
Okay, fine. You can leave. How about you, Daniel?
I would like to take a break.
You're not allowed to take a break. Only Boken can take a break.
Okay, bye.
Hello everyone, we're back from that break. The topic is good versus bad exposition. Who came up with this topic?
I believe
was Daniel.
That was me. Yeah.
All right, Daniel, care to explain yourself?
Sure. So
that's needlessly hostile.
Explain yourself. Where are the drugs? So I came up with this mainly because I feel like a lot of people have very strange perceptions on writing in general, of what constitutes good and bad writing. And exposition is like one of the top things that people either misunderstand. Like I've seen this sentiment a lot where people seem to think that the very idea of exposition denotes bad writing. Like just in and of itself, exposition is bad writing. And I'm like, holy shit. People have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
You've seen that a lot?
A lot.
Okay.
Yes. Annoyingly so. So I just thought it'd be interesting to talk amongst ourselves and discuss, well, no, yes, of course there is bad exposition, but there's also good exposition. So I think the problem with this topic, though, is that it's probably much easier to talk about what makes exposition bad than it is to make it good. But we'll work that out as we talk about it, I guess. Do you guys have any examples of good exposition? Possibly?
I'm trying to think of some.
This is your topic.
No, see, but that's why I asked though, because like, yeah, it's difficult to think of good exposition because it's so easy to just be like, oh, well, this is shit exposition, right? Like whenever somebody says, as you already know, whatever comes afterwards is like, then why the fuck are you saying it if this person already knows, right? Like that inherently makes it bad exposition because this is information that has been created specifically for the sake of the audience, which clashes against the realism that is trying to be established within the world.
I suppose the opening to the Star Wars movies, that's like a good exposition to get you up to speed and into the world.
Yeah. That's a good point. And it's also unique to Star Wars. Like, nobody does it quite like Star Wars.
Actually, it was it's an homage to how they opened up the Flash Gordon stereos.
I knew you were going to fucking bring up Flash Gordon. I was like, this motherfucker's going to say Flash Gordon.
There's no way he's not going to talk about Flash Gordon. He's been biting at the bits.
It's all because he's a Timothy Dalton stan now.
Is Timothy Dalton in Flash Gordon?
Yes, he is actually. In like the 1980 fucking version.
Is he Ming the Merciless? Is he wearing terrible Asian makeup? Please say yes.
I don't remember. I just remember that he's in the movie.
Oh, God.
I feel like it's difficult to point
Timothy Dalton, Flash Gordon.
What are you doing?
He is not Ming the Merciless. But you'll be happy to know that another white guy is Ming the Merciless, and that's Max von Sydow.
Amazing.
What are you doing? Anyways, good exposition. I think good exposition largely is it's informing you. It's like getting you up to speed on the world without you really noticing that that's what it's doing. Like it serves some other function in the story.
I would agree with that because I think the reason why it's so easy to point out bad exposition as opposed to good exposition is that ideally good exposition is invisible. I think good exposition also is whenever characters receive new information that has a tangible effect on them and the story.
Yeah.
So, like, I think this works well in something that's like kind of like a mystery where, like, you know, the main character learns a new piece of information that's either told to them or like they're talking to like a witness or something, and then the witness reveals like a new truth, and they're like, holy shit, this changes the way that, you know, they see the case or whatever. Like I think that can be an example of like really good exposition that that drives the story forward in like a really meaningful way, and also how the main character interacts with the story.
So exposition is basically delivering information about the fictional world that we're in, or the fictional universe. Like, it doesn't need to be a fantasy world. It can be the real world, but we're learning information about a detail of the people or places in it. Basically.
Right. Okay. It's basically dialogue that is also information.
But it doesn't have to be dialogue, though.
Well, in a book, I guess you could have like text that's like done in like the third person that is just explaining things.
Well, what in Avatar, for example, are there things that we just see? For example, when they're in the Earth Kingdom.
No one
needs to point something out.
I mean, wouldn't that be visual storytelling?
When you said Avatar, I went to James Cameron's Avatar, and I was like, why the fuck is that your example?
So I find this really funny that you say that, because I remember one time I brought up Avatar as well, and you misunderstood me as referring to James Cameron's Avatar when I was thinking of Airbender.
Yeah, probably.
That was like in a prior episode.
There's such continuity of errors here.
But like, Boken, wouldn't something visual, wouldn't that just be like visual storytelling rather than exposition?
But you're still learning information, right?
Yes. The way I always understood exposition is that it's explicitly dialogue.
I don't know if that's true, but it may be.
I mean, that's how I've always understood it.
I've always taken exposition to just be something whose function is to inform you of like the setting or the world or something or characters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But I guess we can just keep it at dialogue for now. So, I don't know. I would also say it's difficult to really point out good exposition. You can probably lay down some ground rules, right? Like, if it's dialogue, the dialogue needs to be natural. It doesn't need to feel like there's a reason why this character would tell this other character this information. And
yeah, like
it doesn't work in examples where people who already know each other and should have this information. There's no reason to bring this up in a normal conversation between normal people.
Hello, friend that I've known for 15 years. Of course, you already know about my wife and daughter named Sarah and Lily.
I really appreciated when you took care of me after my mother died.
Yeah, I remember this anime called Psycho Pass, which is it's an interesting anime. It had some issues, but I remember there was some in the very first episode. There was some really clunky dialogue and exposition, like right from the get go, where like the main character is like this. Um, she had already done like the training. She's like a cop. She had already done the training, and she should know everything already. But like in the very first episode, the guy literally, like her commanding officer, like the guy above her, literally says, "So as you already know, blah blah blah," starts explaining like, and I was just like, really? Like I understand, like okay, I understand this is like a weird sci-fi world where we do absolutely need this information because there's a lot of unique elements to it that it's not easy to intuit just by looking. You do absolutely need a character to explain this stuff. But like, man, that was just like, God, so
it's
bad.
It's like the opening to Deus Ex or something, where it's like, well, you already know about your side net of augmented hands and how you can use gravity filters to lift up crates. Why don't you test that for yourself now? In fact, a lot of video games have just god-awful exposition in the opening tutorials.
Yep. Because your character is supposed to already have some skills.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a Pokemon game sometimes where like a character will specifically ask you, do you know what a Pokedex is? And then you can say yes or no. But if you say yes, then the character will basically still explain it to you.
I like, well, this is my grandson. Oh, what's his name again? Gary. Oh, that's right, his name is Gary. He is your rival.
I feel like the
Grandpa,
worst...
how could you forget my name?
Oh, I love that video.
The worst exposition scene that I can come up with right now of the past couple of years has to be Spider-Man Far From Home, where Jake Gyllenhaal finally receives like the code to whatever Tony Stark's arsenal. You know, like he gets Peter Parker to just give it to him. Yeah. Or it kind of happens that Peter Parker gives it to him, but whatever. And then Peter Parker leaves the bar, and then all the people that helped Jake Gyllenhaal are there, and he explains to them what they just did. Like he explains the whole plan that they went through.
Yeah,
basically for the viewer, but he tells it to the people that he did it with, and it's just 5 minutes of detailed explanation.
That's an example. That's an example of where you just need a narrator. You need Jake Gyllenhaal to just narrate to the audience, like, "Hello, I'm Mysterio. Let me explain what's going on." And then he just,
because it's a really complex plan. That's totally bullshit. But that aside, it would be hard to bring all this information into natural dialogue.
Yeah,
you need a dedicated scene to explain this somehow, or you in a book you could have just the narrator say it out loud. That I don't know. That's I guess why sometimes you have the villain's speech, right? Because if you don't have that, how the fuck is the viewer supposed to know?
Yeah, because you don't follow the villain, you follow the hero, and so when you need to know about the villain, like, we got 20 minutes left. Come on, guys.
Please explain your plan quickly.
That's why villains, and you talked about this on the message board book, and like Blackbeard in One Piece, where it's like, no, I'm a guy, and I have my plan, and I'm gonna show up in the story, and you're gonna see my plan unfold. That's why they're so much more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, it can be a particularly good story if there never is an exposition scene and you don't know what the fuck the villain is doing. But eventually, you know, there's some information revealed when the villain isn't even present that changes everything they've done.
Like that, and like the end of Monster on the bed, where you get that final flashback, and it's like, oh, yeah, now that makes sense.
Yep.
But
I was
that
thinking,
is high-class writing. That is really difficult to pull off.
I was thinking
they did it in I was just gonna say they did it in Code Geass. Code Geass does not have bad exposition. It doesn't have bad exposition.
Shut up. I was thinking of good exposition.
Just brush that aside, but okay.
Yes. And I think the first episode of Fate Zero had good exposition because some people complain about the episode because it's kind of long because it's like an hour long and there's no fight scenes in it or anything. But I think that that episode did a really good job of bringing the audience up to speed, and it was pretty simple. All of the characters were learning new information, and they were all learning new information in different ways that were unique to that character. So like, Waver is a student, and he learns about the Holy Grail War by looking it up in the library, and he's reading books. And that's how you learn about some details of the war through him. The characters are also learning about each other. So Kiritsugu has a report that he's reading on Kotomine Kiryu, and he's reading up on his details, and he's learning about who this guy is because he knows that he has to fight him at some point. Kotomine himself is being integrated into this elaborate plan between his father and Tokiomi, and those two are scheming this. They're trying to rig the Holy Grail War in their favor. So they're explaining their plan to him so that he can just summon a servant and then he could just do their bidding and then bow out. So so all the different characters are all learning new information in different ways that are all like unique to that individual. And and unique to their place within the narrative and in the war. So I mean it's an episode that again people kind of like clown on simply because there's no fight scenes or anything like super crazy or exciting that happens in it. But the more I go back to that episode and the more I realize like it's actually like a really well crafted episode that did a really great job of just like bringing the audience up to speed of what's up with this world, what's up with these characters, what's going on and why, and doing so in a very natural way that makes sense within the storyline itself.
Wasn't that the episode where the two girls were in an elevator for like 30 seconds?
What? That's Evangelion?
Yeah, that's Evangelion.
That's an Evangelion joke.
Yeah.
Thank you. Batman did pretty good exposition, where at the beginning he's just sort of like narrating and writing to himself in his crazy Zodiac killer journal. And then it does it again at the end, where he gets to see Riddler's crazy journal, where it's like, I finally see who I am. It's all together in that one phrase, renewal. So yeah.
I was going to bring up another example.
True. Oh.
No, I forgot. Because you talk too much. Fuck.
I'm the host. I'm allowed to talk whenever I want to talk. Damn it. You know who does bad exposition? From Software. You know who does good exposition? Vari Video.
I legit thought you were going to say that David Cage does good exposition.
Why would I say that?
As a joke.
David Cage is not like... I don't go to David Cage. That's such a low-hanging fruit.
It kind of is.
But... See, the way that sentence went, I thought you were going, you know who does bad exposition from Software. You know who does good exposition from Software.
Which would also be true.
The exposition is kind of bad, to be honest. It was novel, but now I'm over it.
I want to see them double down on it more. Like, actually you can't actually progress through the game unless you know what's going on because you read the items. Double down.
Okay, no, fuck that.
They're gonna have quizzes every 30 minutes?
Not quizzes, but like, if you want to know where to go, you're gonna have to figure out where this castle is. It's hidden. And you can figure out where it is just by reading, like, item descriptions related to it. or
I
something
don't know
like
about
that.
that, Chief.
I want
guess
that.
so, but
that's what I want.
It can't be that open then, because you're likely to miss
No,
something.
it's still as open. It's just not handed to you as much. In fact, one could argue it's more open.
But in Morrowind, I can walk up to every fucking guard and ask them about the entire world and where to go. And the journal will tell me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Morrowind does good exposition because it's just like a Wikia tree where you just open it up and it's like, oh, here are the hyperlinks, and if you want to know more about these things we're talking about, click those. And you're
That's
like,
not good
oh,
exposition, though.
that is good that is a good presentation of exposition. That is way better than
What, reading a fucking text?
Yeah.
No.
What game in the same genre does better exposition? And if you dare to tell me that some character talking to you is better exposition, you are out of your mind.
But I don't want to read fucking 50 book entries. That's not good exposition, though.
Oh. Well, I don't like those, but like those are mainly optional. I'm talking about when you're talking to characters. And you can like jump into the conversation in different intervals to like figure out what all the terminology and things are they're talking about.
I remember...
I like that presentation.
Okay. Wait, what does it exactly do? Because I have a counterexample.
It allows you... So it allows you to just quickly get all of the information as much as you need.
But what happens exactly in Morrowind when you talk to someone?
You just get a screen of text, and some of the words are like highlighted, and if you click those words, it takes you to another, like the dialogue screen changes, and it'll be just like the card will say, oh, the Nerevarine prophecy said that the mountain of Salmora is gonna erupt, and when that happens, Flimflam the Third is gonna appear with a floop flap, and all these words will be like highlighted, and you can click on them to get like, what is the Nerevarine, what is the Flimflam.
Okay, so basically when a word is highlighted and you click on it, your character asks the guard, what is X?
Yeah, it's a Wikipedia branch, basically.
See, it's interesting. In Pillars of Eternity, they have normal dialogue, but a lot of the, difficult words or the things they made up are also highlighted, and you can just mouse over it, and it will give you a little explanation to refresh your mind. But it's not you're not talking to the person, asking them 500 times what is X, what is Y. It's just it is literally like a little glossary entry, and you can just mouse over it, which makes it very easy to navigate.
Sure. That's probably just a better version of the Morrowind system, though.
It does kind of destroy. Well, not destroy, but it feels then like a video game. Like it's not in the world.
Oh, sure. But it's the same basic system. It's just how do we make this more iterative and like more user friendly, I suppose, because you don't have to like leave the dialogue and then jump back to it to continue reading.
Yeah.
It's an adaptation, one might say, and probably Morrowind wasn't the first to use this tree by this dialogue system by any stretch, but it's the one I always think of.
I believe Final Fantasy II was the first one. I remember it had like a system where there would be like certain keywords that you would learn, and you could like use those keywords to advance the story, and you could also just ask like random people, and they'll give you more information about those keywords. Not quite the same thing, but it is kind of like a similar concept.
Okay, it sounded to me like you were like you could also ask people about it, and it's like I can't be asked to tell you, kid. Get lost.
Yeah, you could just like literally just pull your pixelated pants down and just moon people. Yep.
Yeah. I can't be asked to tell you. Why do people say that? Like that's such a crazy thing to say. I can't be asked to go to the store.
Probably because they have to get off their ass to go to the store.
It's really interesting in games that because they are interactive, that you're allowed to sort of do exposition more, provided you present it in a way that doesn't just kill the game outright. Whereas in a movie, you want to hide your exposition as much as you can and sort of fold it into a natural ongoing story?
Well, because, I mean, in games, it always, you have books in Skyrim, for example, and it's always like, oh, I found the first book in the game. I'm going to read it. And then 10 books in, I'm just done reading that shit.
I never read those.
Yeah. And then the same with audio logs, for example. I mean, I'm going to listen to the first ones, but at some point it just becomes a very tedious method of conveying information.
That's why I like BioShock so much, because you just pick up the audio logs and it's like, hold the button and we'll just play it for you. You don't have to go into the menu like in System Shock.
Yeah, and you can like do other things while it's playing.
Yeah.
But they always feel kind of forced.
I don't think so. I always listen to them.
But oftentimes there's no, like, it is always kind of questionable why that is even recorded. And it's very convenient that, it recorded in a way where you're learning this crucial information.
Oh, if you don't heat up the pipes, they freeze up.
Like, okay, sure, it's contrived, fine, but like, it's still a good way to get across information to the player without forcing them to be like, hey, someone wrote a fucking dossier or a diary, sit there and read it, asshole. At least here it's like, there's enough believability in the world. It's like, yeah, maybe these people were just lonely and they felt like recording their thoughts. You also have to remember a lot of them were like scientists and people that were kind of neurotic and people that
the best audio logs are always the one where it's like Suchong's journal, March 13th. This is what is happening. Like he's just recording his medical research. Yeah. The worst one are always where it's like the one I referenced earlier, where it's like if you don't heat up the pipes freeze, and when they freeze, bad things happen. And it's like, get it, player? You need to get the fire plasmid.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to particularly put BioShock on blast, but it has influenced a lot of, games to do the same thing.
BioShock, I love.
Or maybe even before that.
BioShock is such a fun game because, like, it's like the gravity. So much of gaming discourse, like the gravity of BioShock, is so big. Even like I love BioShock, but that's not like the greatest game ever made. But it like. Yeah. It brought things like environmental storytelling and ludonarrative dissonance and all these new terminologies were just thrust into the mainstream from that game.
It made a huge pun not intended. It made a huge splash when it came out. It made huge waves because it brought about. It didn't necessarily invent any of these things, but it popularized them. Yeah. And it caught on in a way that, I think it's fair to say that gaming wouldn't be the way it is today if it wasn't for BioShock.
God, no.
Have you guys, you guys haven't played Return of the Obra Dinn, right?
No.
Okay.
No, but I have it geared up somewhere.
I do have it. I haven't installed, but I have not played through it.
It's a very interesting example of like having the audio log, kinda.
But it's presented in a better way.
You don't really have the audio log. You basically relive the moments when every character died. Mm-hmm. And you're in there with just a list of all the people who were on board, and then you see the moment they died in just a still frame, and you hear. Them talk and the noises that happened, and then you're basically thrust into the still scene of how they died. And it's like it feels very natural in the sense that no one is like giving a lot of information and exposition right before they died. They didn't just throw around the fucking names of the other people that are in the scene the second before they died, but instead you just hear someone like say, "Oh my god," and then you hear running. And then, oh no, Ethan, and then you are thrust into the scene and you don't even know who said that. You kind of have to retrace the steps, look who's standing there, Maybe there was a little bit of dialogue and some other character was, whatever, listening into it. You need to really pay attention to where everyone is, and then little details like there's a Miss Swanson and a Mrs. Swanson in the ship, and you kind of need to understand that one is married and the other is not. So the younger one is likely the one that's not married, and that's how you cross her off the list. Stuff like that.
BioShock had that. It did it introduced very early on the idea of you can see memories in the atom, where you can see ghosts walking around, but then they just kind of they could have done so much more storytelling, the bad audio logs they could have justified by presenting it like that, but then they just didn't. They kind of just dropped those an hour in or something. Yeah. Anyways,
I also wanted to bring up
this topic, or
well, real quick, I also wanted to bring up Disco Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the best written games of all time. And the thing with that game, it's able to handle its exposition well, but what's really funny about how it does it is that it blatantly just uses one of the easiest writing tropes in order to hand-wave exposition, which is to give the main character amnesia.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still give the game a lot of credit, because even though that idea is extremely tired, they at least do it in a way that's really interesting, and there's a lot of mystery behind how the main character. It's a mystery in itself, in trying to figure out, okay, who you used to be and what you did to, what happened and why you were inflicted with amnesia in the first place.
Yeah. What I also like about it is that, it is a trope, but they acknowledge it right from the start. And characters will just tell you they're shocked that you don't even know very basic concepts that everyone should know.
Yes.
But, and some people then will stop talking to you. Other people are like, well, this is the fucking cop they sent to investigate this murder. I guess I have to help him, what other choices do I have? Yes. And it's just also, it leads to a lot of weird scenarios, but your character is so batshit crazy anyway that a lot of it is just really, really funny. And
it really is.
There's so much exposition in that game, but it is always punctuated with a lot of character moments and humor that it never felt like it dragged.
That game was so good that once I was starting to reach the end of the game, I was looking for excuses to make it go on longer, because I just loved the characters and the world so much. That was just kind of dragging my feet to the finish line, because I was this game's so fucking good. But yeah, like I was saying though, one of the things I really, really liked was that you don't know anything about the character that you're playing as. You don't even know his name. It takes a while before you finally learn your character's name. And learning about the person that you used to be and how you decide to change him after the fact is really interesting. But yeah, Disco is so fucking good.
One of the best.
Top tier.
Never played it.
You should. You really, really should.
Or what? Or what, Daniel?
Well, you'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
All right. So that's exposition mixed in with BioShock and Batman talk, I suppose.
I suppose.
This was a lousy topic. Let me just say from... Nah, I think we did fine with it. What do we want to plug? Daniel, you did a new video. You want to plug it?
Sure, yes. I did do a new video. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have either of you seen it?
No, not yet.
No.
Okay. Well, the video is called How the Duel Honors Its Influences, a Star Wars Visions analysis. It's a pretty short video. It's only 8 minutes. And basically, Star Wars Visions is like a anime anthology series of short stories where each episode's animated by a different animation studio. And The Duel is the first episode. It's animated by the same team that does the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure openings, the 3D openings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty short. It's like 15 minutes. And it's basically like a extremely Akira Kurosawa inspired short story. Samurai comes into like a village. Some bandits are taking over, and he kicks ass. And that's like the bare bones like plot synopsis. And I thought it was really cool. And my video is just basically going into detail about the very specific influences of that particular episode, because watching it, I was just like, oh, they definitely took Yojimbo here. They took Lone Wolf and Cub. They took this and that. So
look at this weeb knows movies from Japan.
Yep. It's probably the weebiest video I've ever made.
That cannot be true.
No.
It's pretty weeby, but well, what else have I made that's weebier?
Probably that Fate Zero video you made.
I have not made any Fate Zero videos.
You absolutely have.
I have
that video on the duality of that one anime character, where you're talking about a visual novel.
Oh, Shiro versus Shiro.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess
he's from Fate Zero, isn't he?
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. He's the guy. I watched all of Fate Zero, so I would know this.
You don't know anything.
People will decide in the comments.
Technically he appears in like the final episode as like a child.
Oh, technically he appears now. Oh, all of a sudden he magically appears when I call you out on your bullshit. Huh.
Like the last couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking asswipe.
It is amazing how I just called you out on your bullshit, and you immediately
him like one of the main characters. He's not.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't mean it like that. You know what I meant. It's it's important. It's like he's a main character in that it's important that he shows up,
Also, what about that video where you go and showcase all your Saber figurines? That was pretty weeby.
I have never done that.
Well, that was pretty weeby.
That is not true.
You brought out the
slander.
You brought out the cum jar.
Defamation of character. I've done nothing of the sort.
And there was you could see the body pillow in the background. Didn't even bother to hide it. It was kind of weird, Daniel. I don't know.
There was like a little Saber action figure in the cum jar. Yeah, it was pretty messed up.
Jesus Christ. With friends like these, what do you need enemies for?
I think I'd be a great supervillain, because I'd just hassle the hero. I'd just be like... I'd wear his costume, and I'd just masturbate in public to destroy his credibility.
That sounds like a plot point Zack Snyder would come up with.
Hey, stop ragging on Zack Snyder. I like him.
I will rag on him forever.
Hey, you know what? I did a video on Sekiro, which everybody should have watched, even though some people think I'm being obnoxious when I say that.
I watched some of it.
I'm doing a follow-up video now. It's just like talking to my friend Mimi about the story.
Cool.
That's gonna be more just like an audio video, though. You just have that on in the background. And cool. I'm recording a video soon, maybe even just after this podcast, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I have time. Where I'm going over some of the translation issues in Bloodborne, and that's gonna be fun.
I remember you saying that the translation issues in Demon Souls in particular were especially egregious.
Yes.
Is that the case in Bloodborne as well, or not quite as bad?
Not quite as bad. So the translations have always gotten better and better with each game that they've released, but it's still there's still some things.
Still some issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Particularly relating to Canehurst, I believe. There's a lot of stuff which just, what the hell happened here?
Something got lost in translation?
This fucking bitch. How the bitch honors his influences. An analysis. Bogan,
friendship.
Do you want to plug anything?
No.
You should do a video on. You should just have like a video where you say no, and then you can just play that video for us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's great. That is great.
Amazing. What an amazing podcast.
I feel like it went off the rails the moment I started looking at slow motion Jones images. But
I thought you were going to say it went off the rails the moment you became a co-host, which would have been episode 1.
No! First of all, I'm the main host. But secondly, that's not when it went off the rails.
You know what? You keep thinking what you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I will gaslight myself, Daniel. I don't even care. Play the outro.